9:12 p.m. on Friday. My husband's weekend retreat pinged a location alert, right next to a boutique hotel where I once designed the interiors. His text, "I'm in strategy meetings," arrived at 1:03 a.m., but room 210's keycard swiped the elevator at 12:59. Someone was lying. Badly. Sunday morning, I opened the doors to their company's fundraising gala and turned it into a surgical theater of truth. She thought she'd get promoted on Monday. I made their Monday a death certificate. My name is Harper Quinn, and at 32, I've designed enough living spaces to know when a room holds lies. Our bedroom in Riverbend, Colorado, was thick with them that Friday night at 9:12 p.m. Derek stood by our walk-in closet, folding his new charcoal dress shirts into a leather weekender I'd never seen before. The price tag had been carefully removed, but the Nordstrom receipt stub peeked from his wallet when he grabbed his phone. $340 for a bag to carry lies. The Aspen Hollow Retreat Center has terrible cell service, he said, not looking up from his packing. Don't worry if you can't reach me. I nodded from our bed, watching him through the blue glow of my iPad. The air conditioning hummed its steady rhythm, matching nothing inside my chest. Derek Lawson, my husband of 7 years, senior consultant at Northbridge Stratagem, had developed new habits. The cologne wasn't his usual Tom Ford, something sharper, more desperate. Creed Aventus, I'd smelled it on a client once. Leadership workshop all weekend. I kept my voice neutral, the way you'd discuss grocery lists. Veronica says it's crucial for the Q4 evaluations. His boss's name rolled off his tongue too smoothly. VP of Regional Operations. Veronica Kincaid had been appearing in too many sentences lately. The shirt he folded next was pristine, professionally pressed. Not from our dry cleaner on Maple Street, they always left a tiny crease near the third button. This was hotel pressing, the kind that comes with room service and late checkouts. My Apple Home app sent a gentle notification at 9:12 p.m. Derek's Tesla Model 3 had just connected to the charging station, not at the Aspen Hollow Retreat Center 70 miles away, but at the Canyon District downtown parking structure, 3 blocks from the Larkspur, a boutique hotel where I'd redesigned the lobby 2 years ago, where the night manager still sent me Christmas cards, where room 210 had a perfect view of the mountains and a California king bed. "Drive safe," I said, kissing his cheek. He smelled like fresh shower and that foreign cologne, like another woman's choice. At 12:59 a.m., my phone buzzed. Not Derek calling he'd never call. A notification from our shared credit card app. The Larkspur Hotel, authorization pending. I watched the charge appear, then vanish paid with different plastic, but not before the digital ghost had shown itself. At 1:03 a.m., his text arrived, "Made it to Aspen, long strategy session starting early, miss you." The timestamp mocked me in the darkness. The strategy session had started 4 minutes after a keycard swiped into an elevator at the Larkspur. Tamsin Rook, the private investigator I'd hired 2 weeks ago after too many client dinners, had already sent the security footage to my encrypted folder. 2 figures in the elevator, bodies angled toward each other like magnets finding their poles. I lay in our empty bed, listening to the air conditioning cycle through its patterns. The house felt larger without his lies filling it up. On my nightstand, the wedding photo from Vail caught the streetlight through our blinds, Derek in his navy suit, me in grandmother's lace, both of us believing in forever. The blue light from my phone painted shadows on the ceiling as I opened the folder Tamsin had been building. Receipts, parking logs, calendar entries that didn't match, a constellation of deception mapped out in data points. "Weekend leadership retreat," I whispered to the empty room. The words tasted metallic, like blood from biting your tongue too long. Outside, a dog barked twice. Inside, my marriage ended at 9:12 p.m. on a Friday, though Derek wouldn't know it for another 36 hours. He was too busy at his retreat, learning new leadership skills in room 210 while Veronica Kincaid evaluated his performance for Q4. I closed my eyes and began to plan. 7 years of marriage can be measured in objects. The Waterford crystal champagne flutes from our wedding, one now chipped from when Derek gestured too wildly during his first promotion celebration. His Northbridge Stratagem employee badge, upgraded 3 times analyst, consultant, senior consultant, each lamination marking another rung climbed. The shared desk in our home office where we used to work side by side, now split by an invisible line, his papers never crossing into my space anymore. I pulled these artifacts out like evidence, each one a timestamp of when things shifted. The first crack 18 months ago. Derek's parking garage log showed him leaving the office at 6:15 p.m. But his working late texts came at 9:30 p.m. 3 hours of ghost time, 4 days a week. The garage's exit system doesn't lie. It photographs every license plate. I found the email changes 6 months later. Derek switched his work calendar to private, marking everything as busy, without details. The iMessage receipts turned off. Red notifications disabled. His laptop, once casually left open on our kitchen counter, now traveled everywhere with him, even to the bathroom. The wedding album sat heavy in my lap. Page 12. Derek and me at the sweetheart table. Veronica Kincaid raising a toast in the background. She'd been new to Northbridge then, ambitious and sharp in her emerald dress. "To the perfect couple," she'd said. Even then, her smile had been too bright, like she knew something we didn't. Company event photos told the rest. The Northbridge summer picnic, Veronica's hand on Derek's shoulder during the 3-legged race. The Q3 celebration dinner, their chairs angled toward each other while I sat across the table. Invisible. The Denver conference last month, matching coffee cups in their hands at 7:45 a.m. in the lobby, though Derek had texted me he was still sleeping. Our shared laptop held browser history Derek thought he'd deleted. Recovery software is simple when you know where to look. Searches for the Larkspur weekend packages. Veronica Kincaid LinkedIn. How to know if spouse is tracking location. Why, Colorado divorce laws. The credit card statements painted their own picture. Charges at Le Bernardin on Tuesday afternoons. $50 lunches became $150 client meetings. A Tiffany purchase last month. $800. I'd never received any jewelry. The charge was dated 2 days before Veronica's birthday. His clothing told stories too. 3 new suits in 6 months, each one finer than the last. The Tom Ford cologne abandoned for Creed. Gym membership upgraded to the executive tier, the one with the private spa. He'd developed a taste for things that impressed, for surfaces that gleamed. I created a timeline on my tablet, marking each data point. The pattern emerged like a photograph in developer fluid. It started with late meetings, progressed to weekend conferences, evolved into overnight trips. The intersection point was always Veronica. Every ghost hour matched her schedule. Every upgraded purchase preceded an event where she'd appear. The house itself had become a map of absence. Derek's coffee mug no longer next to mine in the morning. His pillow no longer smelled like him. Housekeeping at hotels uses different detergent. The indent on his side of the couch had grown shallow. He wasn't spending evenings there anymore. Our last real conversation happened 8 weeks ago. We'd discussed refinancing the mortgage, his voice flat and procedural. He'd said "I" instead of "we" 3 times. "I think the rates will improve. I want to wait until Q4. I need to review the numbers." The plural had died somewhere between the parking logs and the secret lunches. I photographed everything, building my own evidence folder. Not for court. Colorado is a no-fault state. For clarity. For the moment when gaslighting wouldn't work anymore. For the proof that I wasn't crazy. Wasn't imagining. Wasn't overreacting. The final piece, a Slack message Derek forgot to close on our iPad. Veronica to Derek. Time-stamped Thursday at 11:43 p.m. Can't wait for this weekend. Same room as last time. Last time had been another leadership retreat. Another lie cataloged in my growing archive of deception. Saturday morning, I called Milo Hart. We'd been friends since college, back when he was hacking the university's system to give everyone perfect attendance, and I was redesigning dorm rooms with stolen furniture. Now he worked IT security for a Fortune 500, which meant he knew exactly how corporate systems leaked information. I need metadata, I told him, standing in my kitchen while Derek's weekend bag wasn't in our closet. Everything Derek uploaded to Northbridge's Slack in the last 3 months? That's a very specific request. Harper. Milo's voice carried no judgment, just assessment. Also potentially illegal if I do it wrong. Then do it right. I'm not asking you to hack anything. Just tell me what's publicly available in the EXIF data of images he's posted in company channels. 20 minutes later, my inbox pinged. 17 photos Derek had shared in the team building channel, each one stripped of its visible lies but carrying invisible truths. Photo 12, supposedly from the Denver conference, showed cell tower data from downtown Riverbend. Photo 15, client dinner in Aspen, was geotagged at the Larkspur Hotel. Tamsin Rook operated from an office above a Vietnamese restaurant on Colfax. Former compliance investigator for Wells Fargo, she'd gone private after exposing her own boss's expense fraud. She understood the architecture of workplace deception. I need 3 weeks of surveillance, I said, sliding the retainer check across her desk. But nothing that violates privacy laws, public spaces only. The husband or the mistress? Both. They're colleagues at Northbridge Stratagem. This isn't just infidelity, it's an ethics violation. She's his direct supervisor. Tamsin's eyebrows lifted slightly. That changes things. Corporate governance violations are documented differently than marital ones. Security footage from public areas, parking validation stamps, hotel lobbies are all fair game. By Saturday afternoon, I had my first report. Friday night, 11:57 p.m., Derek's Tesla entering the Larkspur garage. 12:01 a.m., Veronica's white Audi following. 12:59 a.m., both key cards accessing elevator to second floor. The security footage was crystal clear. Tamsin had contacts everywhere. There's more, she said over encrypted phone. I pulled the Larkspur's public corporate event bookings. No Northbridge retreat scheduled, but room 210 has been reserved every third weekend for 4 months. Corporate card, billing to Northbridge's client development budget. My stomach turned. They were using company funds for their affair. Milo called while I was organizing evidence folders. Harper, you need to see this. I found something in the Slack cache not hacking. Just Google's archived previews of public channels. He sent a screenshot. An internal email preview Veronica had accidentally posted, then deleted from the company announcements channel. Visible for 12 seconds, but Google's crawler had caught it. Q4 promotions. Derek Lawson to director level. Grant. I strongly recommend fast-tracking this. Derek has shown exceptional dedication to my team's initiatives. His performance reviews attached reflect the highest ratings. We work together seamlessly. The attached performance reviews were dated next Monday. She'd written them in advance. This is conspiracy to defraud, Milo said. She's using a sexual relationship to manipulate corporate promotions. The shareholders could sue. I created a master file, weekend retreat evidence. 32 gigabytes of proof, organized chronologically. Parking logs cross-referenced with calendar lies. Hotel records matched to expense reports. Metadata revealing true locations. Corporate governance violations documented with surgical precision. The coup de grace came from Tamsin on Saturday evening. The hotel's restaurant has a reservation system that shows public booking names. V. Kincaid reserved their dinner at Larkspur's restaurant for 8:30 p.m. tonight. Table 12, the corner booth. Get photos if you can, legally. The restaurant has glass walls facing the public plaza. Anyone can walk by. By 10:15 p.m. Saturday, I had 8 high-resolution images. Derek feeding Veronica dessert, her hand on his thigh, his wedding ring absent. The champagne bottle Perrier Jouet, $300 that would appear on some expense report as client entertainment. I sat in my home office, surrounded by 7 years of marriage and 3 weeks of investigation. The plan crystallized like frost on glass. Sunday night was Northbridge's annual fundraising gala. Northbridge Cares. Black tie, 500 attendees, media coverage. Derek would attend as senior consultant. Veronica would host as VP. The CEO, Grant Morrissey, would give speeches about integrity and values. I opened my laptop and began composing emails to the 2 independent board members, using the anonymous whistleblower portal. Subject line, urgent ethics violation requiring immediate attention at tomorrow's gala. Then I called the AV company that handled Northbridge's events. This is Harper Quinn from Quinn Designs. I'd like to add a tribute video to tomorrow's program, a surprise for some special employees. Sunday morning, while Derek texted about final retreat sessions, I uncovered the real conspiracy. Tamsin had pulled the Larkspur's records through a contact in hospitality accounting. Room 210 wasn't just their love nest, it was a recurring line item. Check-in name D, Lawson, secondary keycard V, Kincaid. But the charges ran through Northbridge's corporate account under Executive Strategy Sessions. 4 months of fraud, averaging $3,000 monthly. The Saturday night minibar receipt she'd photographed through the restaurant's glass walls told its own story. Time-stamped 12:41 a.m. 2 Prosecco flutes, 1 chocolate soufflé, 2 forks. The receipt would be filed Monday as Client Relations Confidential Account. I knew because Milo found the expense template already created in Derek's cloud drive, waiting to be submitted. But the promotion scheme ran deeper. Milo had discovered something in the cached Slack data, a draft document Veronica had shared with Grant Morrissey. The CEO, then recalled 17 minutes later. The recall failed. Shadows live forever in digital systems. Case for Derek Lawson, Director of Strategic Initiatives, Q4 promotion cycle. The header read. The document outlined Derek's exceptional contributions to Veronica's team, his unparalleled dedication to extended hours, and seamless integration with leadership vision. Attached were performance metrics that didn't match the actual client deliverables Milo pulled from the company's project management system. Page 3 contained the smoking gun. In the comment sidebar, Veronica had written to Grant, "His promotion ensures continuity in our weekend strategic planning sessions. As discussed, personal investment in team members yields unprecedented loyalty." Grant had replied, "Approved pending board review at Monday's meeting. Ensure all documentation appears standard." They weren't just having an affair. They were restructuring the entire department around it, creating a position specifically for Derek that reported only to Veronica. The salary bump $80,000 annually. The real kicker, the position would oversee special initiatives, a budget line of $2 million with minimal oversight. Tamsin called at 2:15 p.m. Sunday. I found 3 other employees who left Veronica's team in the last year. 2 filed sealed complaints with HR before departing. 1 told me off the record that Veronica propositioned him, then transferred him to Seattle when he declined. Pattern of behavior, I said, adding it to the file. There's more. The Larkspur's evening manager mentioned Veronica's corporate card was declined last month. She paid with a different card registered to a shell LLC called Strategic Vision Consulting. Guess who the LLC's registered agent is? Derek. Close. It's registered to Lawson Enterprises, formed 6 weeks ago. They're preparing to jump ship together, probably taking Northbridge clients with them. I opened Derek's email. I still knew his password. He never believed I'd check. 17 drafts to clients. All variations of exciting new opportunity to serve you better and maintaining our close relationship despite organizational changes. Corporate theft, fraud, conspiracy to embezzle. What started as infidelity had become a federal case. The final piece arrived at 4:30 p.m. An anonymous email to my design business account, likely from someone at Northbridge who'd noticed my investigating. It contained a single screenshot next quarter's budget projections showing Veronica's department receiving a 40% increase while 3 other departments faced cuts. The justification, strategic realignment under new Director D. Lawson. They weren't just stealing from the company. They were gutting it. I compiled everything into 3 identical USB drives, 1 for the board, 1 for the SEC whistleblower program, 1 for my divorce attorney. The video compilation for the gala would be the public unveiling, but the real destruction would happen in the sealed envelopes I'd hand to the right people. Derek texted at 5 p.m. Retreat ending soon. Home for dinner. I responded, have plans. See you at the gala. Plans with who? Just some strategic initiatives of my own. 3 dots appeared and disappeared 4 times. He knew something was off but couldn't quite place it. 7 years of marriage had taught him my tells, but he'd been too distracted to notice them lately. By 6 p.m., I had everything ready. The USB with the video montage security footage, timestamps, receipts, and that devastating email thread sat in my clutch next to lipstick that matched my revenge dress. The sealed envelopes were already in my car, labeled for Grant Morrissey, the board, and HR. The Larkspur checkout system showed Derek's departure at 5:47 p.m. Veronica's Audi left 12 minutes later. Separate cars to maintain the illusion, unaware that their illusion was about to shatter in front of 500 witnesses. The weekend retreat was over. The real strategic session was about to begin. The grand ballroom at the Ritz-Carlton had been transformed into Northbridge's monument to corporate charity. I arrived at 6:45 p.m., 90 minutes before the program would begin. My contact at Elite Audio Visual, Marcus, met me at the service entrance. Mrs. Quinn, your tribute video is loaded on USB backup, he said, leading me through the technical maze backstage. You want it played during the VP recognition segment, specifically when Veronica Kincaid is introduced. The timing has to be perfect. Marcus pulled up the evening schedule on his tablet. She's set for 8:37 p.m., right after Grant Morrissey's speech about corporate integrity. The irony was delicious. I handed him the USB, disguised with a label reading, Employee Excellence Montage, runtime 90 seconds. The actual contents would run 2 minutes 18 seconds, but no one would be checking durations once it started. There's a technical glitch possibility, I said, handing Marcus an envelope with $2,000 cash. If someone tries to stop the video, I need at least 90 seconds before it can be cut. System lag, frozen controls, whatever works. He pocketed the envelope. Our equipment is notoriously temperamental during live events. The 3 sealed manila envelopes went to different strategic positions. The first, I placed directly on Grant Morrissey's assigned seat at the head table, marked Urgent Open Before Speech. The second went to the independent board members' table, positioned where the Wall Street Journal photographer would catch them opening it. The third, I hand-delivered to Janice from HR, who was supervising coat check. This needs to be in your hands when the tribute video plays, I told her. It contains evidence of serious corporate misconduct. Janice, who'd processed those sealed complaints from Veronica's former team members, simply nodded. She knew something was coming. Tamsin had arranged for 2 contacts from the Denver Post and 1 from the Financial Times to attend as guests, seated with clear sightlines to the main screen. Their +1s were photographers with equipment that worked well in ballroom lighting. I surveyed the setup from the balcony level. 500 chairs in precise rows, a 40-foot screen behind the podium, 6 cameras from the event company to live stream for employees who couldn't attend. Perfect. The technical run-through at 7:15 p.m. tested my nerves. Marcus played the first 3 seconds just long enough to show the title card, Weekend Retreat, a Strategic Initiative, before cutting it. The sound was crisp, the image quality exceptional. The Larkspur's security footage would display in 4K resolution. We'll also have it on the confidence monitors, Marcus explained, pointing to the screens flanking the stage. The speakers can see what's playing behind them, which meant Veronica would watch her own destruction from 3 angles. I positioned my phone to record from table 12, halfway back but with a clear view. The video would capture both the screen and the head table's reactions. My divorce attorney had suggested documenting everything for potential criminal proceedings. By 7:45 p.m., guests were arriving. I watched Derek enter with his colleagues, wearing the new Tom Ford tuxedo. He scanned the room, likely looking for me, but I stayed hidden in the technical booth. Veronica arrived separately, stunning in crimson, playing the gracious executive. She touched Derek's shoulder as she passed a brief, possessive gesture that 3 board members noticed. The 2 independent board members, Patricia Blackwood and James Harrison, found their envelope immediately. Patricia's expression shifted from curiosity to alarm as she read. She whispered urgently to James, who pulled out his phone, likely texting legal counsel. Perfect. They'd be primed for what was coming. Grant Morrissey arrived at 8:10 p.m., finding his envelope. He opened it backstage, away from cameras. I watched through the booth window as his face cycled through confusion, rage, and calculation. He summoned his assistant, giving rapid instructions, but he didn't call security. He couldn't stop the show without explaining why. At 8:25 p.m., I took my position at table 43, near the exit but with excellent sight lines. I wore the black Versace dress Derek had bought me for our 5th anniversary, the one he said made me look untouchable. Tonight, I was. The lights dimmed at 8:30 p.m. Grant took the podium, his corporate integrity speech notably shortened from 12 minutes to 3. His hands shook slightly as he introduced one of Northbridge's most dedicated leaders, Veronica Kincaid. Veronica glided to the stage, radiant with her coming triumph. Monday's board meeting would confirm Derek's promotion. Tuesday would bring the budget increase. She had no idea Sunday night would destroy it all. "Thank you, Grant," she purred into the microphone. "Northbridge's success comes from our strategic partnerships, our extended hours of dedication, our willingness to go beyond traditional boundaries." Marcus cued the video. The screen lit up behind her. Weekend Retreat, a strategic initiative. The first shot Derek and Veronica entering the Larkspur's elevator at 12:59 a.m., his hand on her lower back. The timestamp glowed accusingly in the corner. The ballroom fell silent. At 8:37 p.m., Veronica stood frozen at the podium, her crimson dress suddenly garish under the ballroom lights. Behind her, the 40-foot screen displayed her professional destruction in high definition. The first 12 seconds showed the Larkspur elevator footage, Derek's hand sliding down Veronica's back, her leaning into him, the digital timestamp merciless 12:59 a.m. Saturday. The same night, Derek had texted me about arriving at Aspen. The ballroom's silence was absolute. 500 people held their breath. At the 20-second mark, the screen split. Left side Derek's Northbridge calendar showing Leadership Retreat Aspen Hollow. Right side Aspen Hollow's confirmation system displaying no reservation found. Below the Larkspur's booking record, D. Lawson, room 210, corporate account billing. Someone gasped. Cameras began flashing. The Financial Times photographer moved closer to the stage. Veronica turned to see the screen, her face draining of color. She grabbed the podium microphone. "Technical difficulties, Marcus. Cut the system's frozen. Ms. Kincaid," Marcus called from the booth, his voice carrying across the ballroom. "Attempting manual override." The video continued its relentless reveal. 41 seconds in the minibar receipt appeared, itemized and damning. 2 Prosecco flutes at 12:41 a.m. Charged to Northbridge's client entertainment budget. The screen zoomed in on the signature V. Kincaid. At 58 seconds, the compilation shifted to the cached email chain. Veronica to Grant, proposing Derek's promotion with the comment highlighted, "Personal investment in team members yields unprecedented loyalty." Grant's reply glowed beneath it. "Approved pending board review." The crowd erupted in whispers. Board member Patricia Blackwood stood up, her envelope clutched like evidence at a crime scene. Photographers captured her expression of corporate fury. 1 minute, 8 seconds. The expense reports appeared in a cascading montage, 4 months of strategy sessions at the Larkspur, each charged to different budget codes. Total misappropriated $47,000. Derek had found me in the crowd by now, his face cycling between rage and terror. He started pushing through tables toward me, but security had already moved to block the aisle's standard protocol when financial misconduct was revealed at a corporate event. 1 minute, 32 seconds. The final evidence. Screenshots of the Shell LLC registration. D. Lawson Enterprises. Followed by draft emails to Northbridge clients about exciting new opportunities to follow Derek and Veronica to their competing firm. Grant Morrissey had seen enough. He strode to the podium, physically moving Veronica aside. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a strategic initiative," I said, standing up. Every head turned. I walked down the center aisle, my heels clicking against marble. Each step measured and deliberate. The black Versace dress moved like liquid shadow. "My name is Harper Quinn," I announced, my voice carrying without a microphone. "I'm Derek Lawson's wife. Legal wife. The one he's been lying to for 4 months while conducting this weekend retreat." I reached the front, placing 3 identical envelopes on the board members' table. Complete documentation for HR, the SEC, and the district attorney's office. $47,000 in fraudulent expenses. Conspiracy to steal proprietary client lists. Sexual coercion complaints from 3 former team members. Veronica's crimson lips moved soundlessly. Derek had gone pale as ash. "This isn't about infidelity," I continued, turning to address the crowd and cameras. "That's just personal cruelty. This is about corruption, theft, and 2 executives who thought they could gut your company while hiding behind strategic initiatives and weekend retreats." The video reached its finale at 2 minutes 18 seconds, a split screen of Derek's wedding ring. Absent in every Larkspur photo, next to our marriage certificate dated 7 years ago. Marcus finally fixed the technical glitch. The screen went dark. Grant grabbed the microphone. "Security, please escort Ms. Kincaid and Mr. Lawson to the administrative offices. The gala is postponed. Board members, emergency session in the Winchester room immediately." Chaos erupted. The Denver Post reporter was already on her phone, dictating copy. The Financial Times photographer captured Veronica's security escort, her crimson dress a bloodstain against their black suits. HR Director Janice opened her envelope publicly, her expression shifting from professional to prosecutorial. Derek broke free from security, reaching me near the podium. "Harper, you vindictive, you've destroyed everything. My career, my future." "No, Derek." I pulled out the separation agreement, already signed by my attorney and me. "You destroyed everything. I just turned on the lights." I handed him the papers. "You have until 9 p.m. to sign these and collect your belongings from the house. The locks change at 9:01. Behind him, Veronica was on her phone, desperately calling someone lawyer, PR firm, anyone who could salvage this. But there was no salvaging total exposure in front of 500 witnesses and 3 media outlets. Patricia Blackwood approached me as security finally corralled Derek. "Mrs. Quinn, the board will need your complete evidence file. Already uploaded to the SEC whistleblower portal," I said. "Case numbers in your envelope." The ballroom was emptying now, guests fleeing the corporate crime scene. But I stood perfectly still in my revenge dress, watching 7 years of marriage and 2 careers dissolve under the weight of truth. The clock showed 9:06 p.m. The Sunday night gala had become Monday morning's headlines. The implosion was immediate and surgical. By 9:18 p.m., while the ballroom still buzzed with shocked whispers, Grant Morrissey had convened an emergency board session in the Winchester room. Through the cracked door, I heard Patricia Blackwood's voice cutting like steel. $47,000 in fraud is a felony. The Shell LLC makes it racketeering. Security had transformed the administrative offices into a containment zone. Veronica sat in conference room A, her crimson dress wilting under fluorescent lights, frantically typing on her phone with shaking fingers. Each text bounced back. It had already suspended her corporate accounts. Derek was in conference room B, still in his Tom Ford tuxedo, the jacket crumpled from security's escort. Through the glass wall, I watched him attempt to access his laptop. Access denied. Every digital door had slammed shut in the 17 minutes since the video ended. HR Director Janice Chen intercepted me in the hallway, carrying an evidence box and wearing the expression of someone who'd waited months for this moment. "Mrs. Quinn, I need you to know we've had concerns about Ms. Kincaid for some time. Your evidence gives us grounds for immediate termination with cause." "The 3 employees who filed complaints," I asked. "4 now. Someone just came forward tonight after seeing the video." She paused. "Mr. Lawson's access badge has been deactivated. His company laptop is being imaged for evidence. Both vehicles have been flagged by security if they attempt to enter any Northbridge property." Grant emerged from the board meeting at 9:32 p.m., his bow tie undone, carrying a folder of termination documents. He didn't look at me as he entered Veronica's holding room. Through the glass, I watched him slide papers across the table. Her crimson lips formed the words, "You can't do this." But Grant was already walking out. Legal counsel arrived at 9:41 p.m., 3 lawyers in sharp suits despite the Sunday hour. They split up, one to Veronica, one to Derek, one to begin documenting evidence. The one approaching Derek carried a criminal referral letter. "Corporate fraud exceeding $10,000 triggers mandatory reporting," the lawyer explained, his voice carrying through the thin walls. "The district attorney's office opens Monday. You'll want your own counsel present." Derek's response was muffled, but the sound of a chair hitting the wall was clear. By 9:55 p.m., facilities had arrived with boxes. They entered Derek's office first, methodically packing 7 years of career into cardboard. His Senior Consultant of the Year award went in first. The photo of him with Grant at the company retreat, the legitimate one, went in last. Veronica's corner office took longer. 10 years of climbing the corporate ladder filled 12 boxes. Security footage from the parking garage, pulled up on Janice's tablet, showed Veronica's Audi being loaded onto a tow truck at 10:07 p.m. Company property in the trunk. They explained laptop, client files, proprietary documents. Everything would be audited. The Financial Times reporter cornered Grant in the lobby at 10:15 p.m. "Mr. Morrissey, can you comment on the $47,000 in fraudulent charges? Northbridge Stratagem maintains the highest ethical standards." Grant replied, reading from legal's hastily prepared statement. "When violations are discovered, we act immediately and decisively. Both employees involved have been terminated with cause, and we're cooperating fully with authorities." "What about the promotion conspiracy? The email showed you approved. No further comments tonight." Derek finally signed the separation agreement at 10:28 p.m., his signature shaky but legal. I'd waited in the building's atrium, watching the Colorado night through floor-to-ceiling windows. He approached with his box of office possessions, escorted by security. "The house," he started. "Can we talk about—" "Your belongings are in the garage," I said. 3 suitcases and 4 boxes. The storage unit key is in the envelope with your copy of the separation papers." "Harper, this is insane. You've destroyed my entire life over fraud, over theft, over thinking you could build a future on lies." I stood, smoothing the Versace dress. "The divorce papers will be filed Monday morning. Uncontested is easier, but I'm prepared for war if necessary." He opened his mouth, then closed it. Behind him, Veronica was being escorted out through the service entrance, away from the lingering photographers. Her termination would hit the wire services by midnight. By Monday's market open, every headhunter in Denver would know she was radioactive. Security walked Derek to his Tesla at 10:42 p.m. I watched from the atrium as he loaded his boxes, his movements mechanical, defeated. The car that had pinged at the Larkspur on Friday night drove away from Northbridge for the last time. I called the locksmith from the parking lot, confirming the 10:45 p.m. appointment, complete rekey, all entries. "On my way, Mrs. Quinn." By the time I reached home at 11:03 p.m., Derek's key already didn't work. The locksmith was finishing the garage entry when my phone buzzed with a Google alert. Northbridge executives terminated following gala scandal. Financial Times. The story was already live. complete with photographs of Veronica's escort from the building and screenshots from the video. By morning, it would be picked up nationally. Inside the house, I poured a glass of the Waterford crystal flutes from our wedding. The champagne was Dom Perignon, saved for a special occasion. This qualified. The cold November air bit through my coat as I stood outside the Ritz-Carlton's service entrance at 11:47 p.m., watching the last of Northbridge's executives scatter into the night. The valet stand was chaos, everyone fleeing before their own secrets got exposed. Veronica emerged from the service door, no longer the crimson goddess who'd taken the stage 3 hours ago. Her makeup had streaked, leaving black tributaries down her cheeks. She clutched her phone like a lifeline, stabbing at numbers that wouldn't answer. Her career network had already begun deleting her. "My car," she told the valet, her voice cracking. "The white Audi." "Ma'am, security said it was towed. Company property investigation." She stood there, swaying slightly in her Louboutins, a 6-figure executive reduced to calling an Uber. The app would charge her personal card. No more corporate accounts. A text lit up my phone at 11:59 p.m. "Derek, from the parking lot of a Holiday Inn." "I can't believe you did this." I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Grant Morrissey intercepted me as I walked to my car. His bow tie hung loose, and exhaustion had carved new lines around his eyes. "Mrs. Quinn, the board wants to thank you. If you hadn't, we were about to approve that promotion. The budget increase. They would have bled us dry." "You already knew something was wrong," I said. "The email showed you knew." His face tightened. "I suspected. But suspicion isn't proof. You gave us proof." Behind him, through the glass doors, journalists were still interviewing witnesses. Someone held up their phone, showing the video already viral on LinkedIn. Monday morning would bring a tsunami of corporate reckoning. "What happens to them now?" I asked, though I already knew. "Veronica won't work in this industry again. The fraud charges alone will follow her forever." "Derek." Grant paused. "The Shell LLC, the client theft attempt that's potential prison time. 2 to 5 years if the DA pursues it." A couple emerged from the ballroom, the woman whispering urgently to her husband. I caught fragments. "Could be happening at our company. Need to check the expense reports. That poor wife." "Poor wife." I almost laughed. I wasn't poor anything. I was architect of this demolition. My phone buzzed. Tamsin, my private investigator. Local news picked it up. Channel 9 wants an interview. Declining on your behalf unless you say otherwise. I declined. The evidence would speak for itself. Walking through the parking lot, I passed Derek's assigned spot senior consultant, level B2. By morning, facilities would have painted over his name. 7 years of climbing, erased in one Sunday night. A final text came through as I sat in my car. From a number I didn't recognize. "This is James Harrison from the board. Your evidence package is being forwarded to the SEC tomorrow. You may be entitled to a whistleblower reward, typically 10 to 30% of recovered funds. Given the scale of fraud, it could be substantial." I hadn't even considered the money. The revenge had been reward enough. Driving home through empty Denver streets, I thought about the wedding photo still on our nightstand. 7 years ago, Veronica had toasted us at that reception. "To the perfect couple," she'd said, already planning her eventual conquest. At 12:23 a.m., I pulled into my garage now. The house felt different, not empty, but cleansed, like after a fever breaks. Derek's coffee mug was still by the sink, his running shoes by the door. Ghost objects from a dead marriage. Tomorrow, I'd box them up. Tonight, I'd let them haunt the space one last time. My phone showed 17 missed calls from Derek, 4 from numbers I didn't recognize, probably his family, or Veronica's crisis management team fishing for information. None of it mattered now. I opened my laptop to find an email from Marcus at Elite Audio Visual. Mrs. Quinn forgot to mention. The full video file got backed up to our cloud system. Standard protocol. It'll be deleted in 90 days unless you want a copy for your records. I wanted a copy. Not for court, there was enough evidence without it. But someday, when doubt crept in, when I wondered if I'd overreacted, I'd need to remember this feeling, this absolute certainty that I'd done exactly what needed to be done. The clock on the mantel, another wedding gift, showed 12:59 a.m. Exactly 48 hours since Derek had swiped into the Larkspur's elevator with Veronica. 48 hours from deception to destruction. A car door slammed outside. Through the blinds, I saw Derek's Tesla idling at the curb. He sat there for 3 minutes, staring at the house he could no longer enter. Then the headlights swung away, disappearing into the night. Veronica's LinkedIn profile had already been updated. Previous VP at Northbridge Stratagem. No new position listed. There never would be. Not in this industry. I stood in my kitchen, holding the champagne flute up to the light. The crystal caught the under-cabinet LEDs, fracturing them into rainbows, beautiful and sharp, like truth itself. My phone buzzed one final time. Milo, my IT friend. Check the Denver Business Journal. You're trending. I didn't check. Tomorrow would bring enough fallout. Tonight was for this standing in my house. My life reclaimed, while somewhere across the city, Derek and Veronica discovered what it meant to lose everything. You destroyed it all. Derek had accused me. No, Derek. You lit the match. Veronica poured the gasoline. I just made sure everyone could see the flames. The clock struck 1:06 a.m. Sunday was officially over. Their Monday morning had begun. No jobs, no future, no lies left to hide behind. I raised my glass to the empty room. To strategic initiatives, I said aloud, and knowing when to end them. The champagne was perfect cold, effervescent, and worth the wait. Thank you so much for listening to this story of deception, power, and ultimate revenge. Where are you listening from today? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What would you have done in Harper's position? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories of justice served cold, and share your own experiences with truth coming to light. Your stories inspire ours. Until next time, remember the truth always finds its way to the surface.